What's on the menu tonight? So glad you asked. We're having salmon tonight. So we're gonna get into our salmon and talk about how what kind of salmon you need to choose and how we're gonna cook it. But we're also having a big kale salad with some spinach, some radishes, lemon of course as always for our dressing, cucumber, and then we're gonna go over to some of our fat area. We're gonna have cheese tonight, some nuts of course, and then we're gonna kind of make all this kind of come together. So a couple things really quick. We're going to be broiling our salmon, and then why we're going to do that is broiling is going to be much easier to cook a large amount of salmon. If you're going to saute this in the pan, you have to cut it up, you have to flip it over on both sides. It can take a little longer. I want to show you how to make the most salmon you can as quick as you can, and also making it delicious, obviously. So let's get right into it. Let's just set our stuff aside. So we got a couple different kales today. All right, we're just going to mix it up. We're going to put that in a bowl for later. Spinach as always. Radishes. Lemons, cucumbers. We're gonna come back to that. But already look at it. It's so pretty already. Isn't that amazing? Right there. All right, so salmon. Now, there are a couple things about salmon. This is sockeye salmon. Sockeye salmon is always wild caught. They can't farm sockeye salmon. So if you go into the store and you're looking for the best kind of salmon, sockeye is your deal. Now, other salmon's farm raised, and it can actually be fed corn and other kinds of food like that, and also antibiotics that doesn't make it really great. And then they add color to it to give it the salmon color. You can tell this has a really, really rich texture to it and color, and it has lots of great bloodlines. So it's gonna be nutrient dense. It's gonna be fantastic. Now, as always, we're gonna use our cooking sheet, and this is a seasoned sheet. It's not super scoured. It's not very clean. It has those pockets of grease where it's been baked on. This is the kind of sheet you want to be using. Got great flavor profiles. It'll be better to make sure your salmon doesn't stick. So we're going to use that to cook with. Really easy preparation for salmon. We're going to use some garlic powder, onion powder, a little bit of dill. We're going to use some minced garlic and salt and pepper, and that's going to kind of bring us all together. And then of course we're going to use one of these lemons and squeeze it across once we're done cooking it to kind of give it that pop, a little citrus you want with your salmon. So let's get right into see how our salmon is going to be prepared. We're just going to salt, pepper, garlic, everything real quick, just on both sides. Real simple, real quick dose. Again, I don't measure things out because there's really no need for that. You know what? What did I forget? We need to get our oven cooking, right? So whenever we do these, we need to ask ourselves, what takes the longest to do? And obviously cooking is going to take longer than making the salad. So we're going to get things cooking. So let's pop our oven on broil really quick. Broil high. Again, broil. Heat comes from the top down instead of baking, which comes from the bottom up. We want to toast our salmon from the top down, cooking it, but also crisping those edges, making it a nice crispy crust. It's going to be fantastic. All right, let's get back into it here. Onion powder. Let's give it a nice dosing. Same thing with the garlic powder, real easy. Again, you don't have to worry too much about using teaspoons or anything with this. Just kind of do it to flavor. You're not gonna go wrong on it. Pepper. If you get yourself a fresh pepper grinder, you're gonna be in business because that fresh pepper makes all the difference. Just like that. And some salt, here we go. See how easy that salt is when you just kind of pinch it? It's so satisfying to watch it go on there too. And of course I'm using kosher salt. All right, so that's just our one here. Let's do our little dill. Let's sprinkle some dill on here. Again, nothing crazy. Kind of use your imagination here. What do you think would be good? Again, you can add some more dill after it's cooked. No big deal. I'm just pinching this out. Not using the shaker, just using my fingers, kind of giving it that feel. Already, kind of look how delicious this looks. Already it's looking so good. But let's do the other side. The skin has a lot of great nutrients in it. So we want to make sure that we cook that skin and we eat it once we're done preparing. Now look what I have on my shoulder. Once again, as always, a towel. A kitchen towel. It's very handy to just kind of wipe your hands when you need to be flipping stuff over. Always have one ready. Always have it handy. All right, let's put a little bit more garlic powder on here. The skin's going to be so delicious. It's the crispy, delicious part of salmon. I think it's the best. I could probably just eat the skin of the salmon, but I don't think they sell that. Probably because not very marketable. Doesn't sound very good. All right, salt and pepper. Here we go. Nice. A bit of salt. Okay. Now, for our pan, even though the salmon isn't going to stick to it, we want to just kind of smear a little bit of butter on the base. It's going to give us that layer to allow the underside of the skin to crisp and become delicious. So, I'm just going to take a little bit of this butter. All right, this is just a pat I kind of had. I always keep my butter laying out, the one I'm going to use. I'm just going to smear it on here. Give it a nice greasy layer. I'm actually going to end up using this butter on top of the salmon. There's nothing wrong with adding a little bit of extra fats to your salmon. Salmon does have a ton of great fats in it already. But we're just going to lay the salmon over just like this. So we greased our pan. Let's put our salmon in here like that. Here we go. Look at that. Already, look how delicious that's looking. Let's take our butter. Let's just smash a couple little pieces in here. Nothing fancy. As this cooks, the butter's going to melt. It's going to drizzle inside the little crevices and be delicious. Here we go. See, there's nothing fancy about it, right? Great, looks so good so far, huh? I'll give my hands a quick wash. Just get my butter off. And of course, my towel. All right, so we're in pretty deep here. We're a good ways through. You got any little seasoning left? Just gonna throw it on there. That's fine. We're done with this. Perfect. Now, our oven isn't 100% heated to broil, right? It will click when it is, but that's okay. We don't really worry about that. We're just gonna throw it in and we're gonna use our ear to start hearing about how it cooks. When it starts to pop and sizzle, we'll start to check on it, and it's gonna get a little bit more crispy as we go on. So let's just stick it in here. Right now it's not too hot, but that's all right. We got plenty of time now to move on. Now look, when you're cutting, when you're fixing raw meats, it's not a bad idea just to kind of go over your kitchen, especially fish. It can get a little funky in there. So let's just make sure we have a clean counter, just to make sure here. All right, time to get into our salad prep. Now, always have your bowls handy. That way when you're cutting things up, you can throw things in a bowl. You don't have to worry about walking over the trash every 5 minutes. Sometimes I forget my bowl and then I'm walking back and forth constantly. And of course, we need our steel and our knife. We need our knife to be pretty sharp when we're cutting stuff. Doesn't have to be super sharp. We want to make sure that when you're cutting, you're smashing through things. So let's get our knife a little bit sharp here. On the side, we're gonna put these bad boys away for the time being. We'll come back to these. Just to add a little touch at the end. You know what? I forgot my garlic. Let me put that back in here. Look, guys, it's okay. Sometimes you miss a step. I like extra garlic on my salmon. So I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic on here. I love garlic. And I started using this minced garlic, and it's just become a lot easier to add garlic to things when I don't have to cut them up every 5 minutes. So, just gonna add some of this on here. Look how delicious this is gonna be. Oh yes. That does kind of add that extra little flair, doesn't it? Almost forgot the garlic. What was I thinking? All right, going back in. That's gonna be so good. All right, let's get another salad. Again, always start with the kale. Now we do that because we're gonna make a kale base, then we're gonna add some lemon and salt and pepper to it. Make sure we got lots of lemon and salt and pepper in the kale. Make sure it doesn't fall in there. So, kale as always, grab it with the left hand, just twist with the right, just pull that bottom piece off. It's gonna separate our kale leaves out real nice. And we kind of pick off here what we want right there. And my bowl, right? Bowl for stuff. There we go, perfect. All right, so again, kale, this part right here, the spine can be extra hard to eat. So let's just pull that spine right out and just throw it to the side really quick. Again, just like that. Perfect. This is actually red kale. I picked this up just to be a little bit different. It's all delicious hearty kale, but this one has a really beautiful color to it. It's all the same kind, really, same price for sure. Just add a little variance to kale because I do eat a lot of kale. Kale has a lot of great vitamins and minerals. It's probably the best cruciferous vegetable that you can eat. So definitely have a lot of it in your diet, especially if you want to have a great body composition and feel good all the time. All right, look at that base already, awesome. We have this one as well. You know what, I'm gonna take 1 second, I'm gonna break this apart just to kind of make it into smaller chunks that I can eat a little bit better. Here we go, and the same thing here. Hold with the left hand, twist with the right. Let's pull that scale off here. Anything left over. And here on the spine, let's pull the spine out too. Just to make sure we're not eating a bunch of spine. And make sure we have a large bowl. Now, the important part about the way that we're doing this is we're gonna make such a large amount of the salad and salmon that we're gonna be able to eat this tonight and then turn around and eat it tomorrow and then turn around and eat it the next day. The important part is to set yourself up for success. So when you go to open your fridge, you're not hunting for stuff and just, you know what, I'm just gonna order Uber Eats. Just set yourself up for success. So when you do cook, you're cooking quick, you're cooking large amounts, and it's delicious, and it's nutritious, and it just lasts for a long time. That's the secret. All right, we're doing great here. We're coming along. I don't hear the salmon popping yet, which means we have plenty of time. I like to cook my salmon medium rare, generally. Salmon can be take a temperature just like other meats. I just want to make sure you guys understand. You can cook your salmon the way you want. The sockeye that I just pulled out and we're fixing, you could slice off that and eat it rare, just like it is. It's almost sashimi grade tuna, or sashimi grade salmon. It's delicious. All right, almost done with our kale. Make sure you put a bunch of, look, this kale will last. The best thing about kale is it's a hardy winter vegetable, so it'll stay in your fridge forever. All right, look what we got here. Already we're doing so good. Oh, I missed one. Let's do this one. I mean, you just know this is gonna be good for you. Look how delicious and beautiful this is. At this point, we can start, let's have some spinach. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's pull the spinach out. Again, we want the leafy vegetables in our bowl to be able to cover it by itself. We don't want to have to start adding stuff like radishes and cucumbers and trying to dose those separately. So let's just cut the bottom of these off. All right, set those to the side. We don't need you anymore. And this is the spinach leaf we want to use. We'll throw it in here. Oh my goodness, look at this thing we're making here. It's okay if you have some leaves in there. There's nothing wrong with the spinach leaf. Just want to cut off the bottom. Give yourself a leg up. And we'll just mix these around a little bit. Make our base nice. Some falls out, that's fine. We'll pick it up in a second. Just like that. Look at that base. Again, look how much we're making too. That's the point. Get yourself some of these large mixing bowls and make sure you have them available so you can make these larger pieces. Okay, lemon as always. Lemon complements very, very well kale and other leafy vegetables like that. You don't need a bunch of olive oil. You don't need salad dressing. So when we're cutting, as always, make sure we lay it flat. We pull our fingers back. We use our knuckles as the guard and slice downwards like that. Slice downwards. Again, this middle part here is always the hardest part. This little section here, that's the spine of the lemon. If we cut that out, it'll be a lot easier to squeeze our lemon juice. And then we can also cut out that spine in the middle. And it's just easier. That spine right here and these ends make it so hard to squeeze a lemon or a lime. So set ourselves up and pull those out. Look at that. It's a nice, easy, squeezable piece of lemon. Let's squeeze that over top here to start. Oh boy, that's good. Towel. Handy towel. I'm going to wipe my hands real quick. Let's salt and pepper this bad boy. Look, put salt and pepper on your salads. There's nothing wrong with putting some salt on there. Salt brings out the natural flavors of the foods that you're eating. That's why it's so important. And that's why it's so delicious. All right, we doused that side. Let's flip it over. Let's do the same thing to this side to make sure we get a nice even spread of lemon and salt and pepper. Oh, my hand's a little sticky again. That's okay. This towel's perfect. Here we go. I'm gonna use these two. Oh yes, nice. Again, my towel, so handy. So right now, we're pretty close to being done with our salad. I can hear that salmon sizzling in the background. Let's just take a quick look. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh my goodness, it's coming along really well. So our butter is melted, everything's looking good. We're starting to get some brown around the edges, that's fine. We took a little while to go, just enough time to finish our salad. Let's put that back in there, let it keep going. Perfect. All right, we're at salt and pepper here. I mean, that by itself is almost a masterpiece. So delicious. Set yourself up, guys. All right, let's get some cucumber in the mix here. Now, we want to make sure we do cucumber separate. That way we can lay it out flat. We can dose it with salt and pepper. Pull your fingers back when you're cutting. Don't cut it out flat. And again, when you're doing anything that's round like this, keep your knife nice and flat. Cut it on the bias. That way it doesn't roll away from you. Bias is just at an angle like that instead of being flat. And we're going to make sure we feed this cucumber into our knife's blade. Make sure that we don't put our fingers anywhere near it. That's going to be important. Oh yes. One last piece here. I think I can squeeze one out. All right, so let's lay this flat. Let's salt and pepper these bad boys. Again, salt and pepper brings out the natural flavor of the cucumber. That's all we really want. There we go. Oh yes. Let's just put those in there. They have graduated to salad bowl status. You know, this is we're filming this in the morning, and I would love to eat some of this right now, but again, I am fasting. I'm gonna be fasting pretty much the entire day. I'm gonna have my big meal at night, but this is a preparation. You can prepare this anytime you want. Get it ready, throw it in the refrigerator. It's gonna be perfect for later. That's the point. Get yourself prepared. Radishes. We're just gonna pull these right off of the leaf. Now, I normally don't do root vegetables. Root vegetables kind of are high in carbohydrates and starches, but I want some root vegetables in my diet. Couple reasons why. It's not crazy to have a little bit of starches in your diet. It's not unbelievable. But the beautiful part about radishes and root vegetables is they're really close to the soil. So you're getting a lot of those nutrients. It's like the first stop for nutrients. Sun first, and then the vitamins and minerals that pull from the soil. So you kind of want that in your diet. For radishes, we're going to do something simple. We're just going to chop off the ends really quick. Nothing funky about it. Just want to make your radish look like that. Same thing here. I really don't even do this much. I would just throw this in the bowl like this. I'll eat the tails and the tips, no problem. But a lot of people feel funky about it. It is a little bit sinewy to eat, so we're just gonna go ahead and make sure that we're pulling those off. And of course, for root vegetables, let's make sure that we give these just a hand rinse in the sink, just to pull off anything, because these were just in the ground. That's the hope. So any loose dirt that was on the leafy parts that we just pulled off, we're gonna make sure we're cleaning that real quick. Let's pull this off. We got a remnant cucumber. Let's put this in our throwaway bowl, just like that. And we're just gonna take these, we'll rinse them by hand real quick. Nice, there we go. That was easy. And of course, if you're so inclined, you can chop these in half. Nothing wrong with that. Again, we want to dose these in some S&P. So we bring out the flavor of this. So let's give them some nice tops that we can add some stuff to here. Watch your fingers when you're cutting these, obviously. These aren't, you're not gonna be able to keep these steady and feed them into it, so there we go, just like this. They're really beautiful. Salt and pepper. Why? Brings out the natural flavors. That's what we want. We want to taste our food as it comes out. Just like that. Salt. Okay. We are so close. Let's go ahead. These graduated too. Now look what we got here. How amazing is this already? That's how you want your salads to be. You don't want a little tiny salad. You want a big, delicious salad. All right. So I'm hearing that salmon sizzle. I'm gonna clean my cutting board real quick before we get into it, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna have some cheese. So just gonna rinse this. There's nothing wrong with this cutting board. It doesn't need to be scoured. It needs a quick rinse. Pull off what we were just doing. There we go. Now we're ready for some cheese cutting in a second. Let's check that salmon. Sounds like it's cooking. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So we're starting to see some crusting around here. It's starting to turn nice and brown. Same thing here. That's the beautiful part about the broil. This looks like it could use a little bit more, so let's just keep it in here. Maybe give it a little flip. To change that heat profile. Look how delicious it's looking. How toasty it's looking. This just needs one more minute. I like my salmon a little bit crispy. I like it medium rare inside, crispy on the outside. While we're doing it, let's look at some cheese here. Again, cheese. There's two different sections for cheese in the grocery store. There's one that has the shredded cheese, the Mexican cheese, you know, in the dairy section, they call it dairy, and then there's the specialty cheese. The shredded cheese, that's not cheese. That's spun up lipids, that's spun up fats, vegetable oils more than likely. This is real cheese. Please make sure you eat real cheese. So let's get in here. Let's just cut our cheese real quick. I know it seems redundant, but I want to show you how to cut cheese. Make sure you cut your fingers off. We'll throw this to the side. Set your cheese up any way you can. If it's a funky shape, make sure you have it steady. Want to put one finger down this side and make sure our knife is nice and steady all the way down, just like this. Your prerogative, obviously, but make sure you put some dairy in your diet for that fat. Salmon has a great amount of fat in it. We're about to have some nuts with it too. You just want to make sure that you're getting a variety of different fats. Look on the site to find what kind of fats are available, what kind of fats are good for you, the absorption percentages, stuff like that. Look, when we get down to the end, let's set it down flat. Let's give that last cut to make sure we're not wobbling. There we go, that's our cheese. Pretty easy. Let's maybe cut it 1 or 2 more times. That way whoever's digging into this will have cheese that's a little bit easier to eat than big sticks. Our bowls is always sticking out. We'll sit these there, just like that. And always, always, always have some nuts with your dinner. Nuts have amazing fats and proteins. It also adds another layer to your dish. Gives you that crunch, that salty crunch on the side that you need and desire. Okay, so far so good. I think it's time that we do some salmon. You guys don't worry about that. If it falls in your counter, even better. Here we go. Let's see what our salmon's up to. I think it's ready. Look, I grabbed my towel, I folded it up, I got myself a little hot mitt. That's what I'm gonna use. Pull this salmon out. Oh my goodness. There we go. Look how beautiful the salmon is. All we did was put some butter and some stuff on top of it, threw it in the oven. That's what's gonna make some delicious salmon. So, at the very end, always add some citrus to your foods, or to your fish rather. It always brings out the natural flavors. Pull this little peel off here. Again, just like we prepared before, I do have half of a lemon left over here, but I like to keep lemon in my salad bowl. That way, as I'm eating the salad, I can add more and just kind of add flavor as I go through the salad. Cut the ends off, cut the spine out the middle here. I'm gonna pop some of these seeds off. I'm just gonna give this a little bit of a douse here. Here we go. Just like this. I get a little bit liberal with my lemon. All right. Make sure to keep all of our remnants in the same bowl here. You got some extra lemon left over? That's okay. Throw it in here. We'll use it a little bit later. Here we go. This is our full prepared meal. So now dive in, guys. This is exactly what you should be eating. Have as much salmon as you like. Have as much fish as you like. Have as much salad and cheese and nuts. All the good fats for you. Just amazing stuff. Really quick though, at the end, we don't have a lot left over here. We're gonna get our bowl clean. We're gonna get our cutting board clean. That way when we leave the kitchen, all we have maybe is this bacon pan. And again, don't scour this. Just clean it off, wipe it off with a towel. Maybe rinse it off. Keep it nice and greasy and delicious to use for later. So let's get to it. Let's do the cleaning. Hey, I want you guys to see me clean because a lot of food preparation, you want to make sure that you're cleaning up at the end because it's important. People don't realize that this is what you need to do. When you walk into your kitchen, you want your kitchen to be clean. You want it to be a space you can come back and fix stuff every 5 minutes. So. That stuff real quick. Let's bust these dishes out. I enjoy using dishes. It's very cathartic. Keep that knife to the side. Don't stick it up. Don't push it down into the drain. Keep it up so you know where it is at all times. Knife can cut you if you're not careful. I'm gonna loosen it here. See how easy this is? So when you come back into your kitchen, you want it to be glowing. You don't want to have to be like, oh man, I just cooked all this stuff, now my kitchen's messed up, I can't go back in there, I'm never going to the kitchen again. Don't do it to yourself. Make sure you clean up. So look, there we go. That was easy. Now we have enough salmon for many, many meals. The salad bowl we can reuse. Just throw a plate over it when you're done. Call it a day. Hope you enjoy this recipe. I eat this all the time. Salmon's fantastic for you. Looks so good. Let's dig in.